Hey comic book fans, your pal David here, give you another edition of the Comic Fix. Now this is part 3 in this week of reviews. In this video I'm going to be doing the Bat Family books that came out this week. But there's going to be one book missing, that is Batwoman. Batwoman I forgot to pick up this week, so I have to wait till next week to pick it up with my comic load for next week. So expect that review in the following week. So now I'm going to go on to Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue number 12. Starfire has taken her crew to her homeworld, Temerian. Her mission is to save her sister and then save her planet. Well, now, will she succeed or will she fail miserably? Well, you just have to read this book to find out. So now on to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should pick up this title. The good. I really enjoyed the space opera that is being told here. And it's really funny though, I'm looking at the title or the front page of this book, and in there is like a little thing just like you would see in a Star Wars movie. And it says, "A warrior, a scoundrel, and a red knight to the rescue." And it's done the same way as you would see in a Star Wars film. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I really liked the cover on this book. Now, going into the Red Hood and the Outlaws, you would never expect for a space opera type of book. You would expect a book about the underground belly of Gotham City and how Red Hood is taking the underground by storm. But not in this issue. In the last 3 issues, it's been Starfire-centric, and it's been really interesting. It's a title where you're getting this space opera that it feels genuine and interesting compared to every other book that's in the DC line. And I like how diverse the DC line has become. Because usually, the only time you ever get this space opera type of book is in the Green Lantern titles. But to get a different perspective of the space in the DC comic world, it's interesting to get it from the Red Hood and the Outlaws. There is a new artist on this title, and I really could not tell a difference between the old artist and the new artist until I went back and looked at a couple pages from the previous issue, and you can definitely see little tweaks there, here and there. But I think the thing that makes this book so good is the artist, or the inker. He does a great job of just the inking of the book, that no matter who, if a new artist comes on, he just makes this book feel like it's a Red Hood and the Outlaws book. And that's really cool to see. There is one negative that I found in this book, is that if you're a new reader, you'll be pretty lost as to what is happening in this book, and to why are the Red Hood and the Outlaws in this space opera. So if you're a new reader coming in, you'll be pretty lost. But I would suggest for that new reader to go back, pick up a couple issues from issue number 10 to now, get caught up, and you're in for a really good ride. So in the end, I'm going to give Red Hood and the Outlaws issue number 12 a 4 out of 5. And it's just a really fun book out of the Batman family line. Next up is Catwoman, issue number 12. In here we get the big finale of Catwoman versus Dollhouse, and to see their fight that comes out of it. Now, Catwoman, she knows that she's up against something that's not up to her par, and she knows that she needs help. So who does she call but Batman? And I think it's really cool that she will call on Batman, because just like Batman, if he's facing off against something that he knows he cannot win against, he'll call on Superman for help. So it's nice to know that Catwoman has that same type of thing with Batman. And it's really cool to see Batman and Catwoman together and fighting the same cause. So, will Catwoman win? Or will Batman not get there in time and Catwoman will eventually lose? Well, you just have to read the book to find out. Now on to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should pick this book up. The good. There was one point in the book where you got the name of the person who's the villain of the story arc, Dollhouse. And I was like, does he have any ties to Dollmaker, because it will be really confusing to new readers to have so many doll people in the Gotham City. But in this issue, it clarifies that Dollmaker, or Dollhouse, is part of the family of Dollmaker. So that was good to get that all clarified. And I do believe that this is the last, or second to last issue that Judd Winnick's going to be doing on Catwoman. And I'm kind of sad to see him go, because he has got such a good voice for Catwoman. And the controversies from the first issue has slowly weaned out, and it's just been a really enjoyable comic. So I'm really sad to see him go after the 0 issue. Plus, he really does have a good act of getting that Catwoman is a person who cares about the unloved people. The people who have the drug problems, the people who are prostitutes, and she's going after and saving the people that are the unloved, and it's just really cool to see. So I'm sad to see him go. Plus, this one story arc, when it started out, it was not the best story arc to begin with, but the ending to it bumped up this story arc a little bit more. There wasn't really any negatives to this one issue. It was a fun issue, but it never really had any of those wow moments, or any of those moments that made you think, I want to really keep on reading this story, or reading on with this character. So hopefully after the 0 issue, and once we get the new writer in there, we can see where she takes it and see if it's going to be going to the same direction that Judd Winnick has been putting on with his book. So with that being said, I'm going to give Catwoman issue number 12 a 3.5 out of 5. A really fun book, but it has nothing to wow you whatsoever. Second to last book for this video is Nightwing issue number 12. The Republic of Tomorrow for today. The story arc concludes in this one issue. Unlike most of the story arcs that I've been including with this month for the 0 issue that's going to be coming out next month, this story arc felt like this is where the writer wanted to conclude the story. So it makes it have a natural, it makes it feel natural that it's going to be going into the 0 issue. All the story elements that were in there, all the plot lines, are resolved in this issue very naturally. And the fight scenes between Nightwing and Paragon are really cool. But there's one negative to this whole entire series, is that Kyle Higgins, he can have a couple really cool issues, but he never has really gotten a hold of Nightwing as a whole. Hopefully after the 0 issues and he can tell some more stories, he'll start to get on a roll with Nightwing. But he sometimes has stumbling blocks. But this issue, it was just not a great issue for him. Not a bad issue. It was just an in-between issue again. So with that being said, it's a story that is very simple. It's just Paragon and Nightwing having a big old battle. And through that battle, we get some plot lines being told and being finished and being resolved. But again, there's nothing there to wow you and to make you want to come back. So, plus, one more thing. There is 2 inkers in this book. In the second inker, or the first inker, he did a really good job of inking the book. And then the second inker came in. He did the last 2 or 3 pages. And when he came on, it was really jarring about the difference between the first inker that was on there to this inker. Because the second inker, I don't know, it was just something a little bit different. He had a more brighter tones to the skin pigments of the characters, and everything about the book was a little bit brighter than what we saw in the previous issues. Like here's him, the second inker. And then, like here's a picture of the other inker. I mean, it was really cool to see the first inker going through the pages, and then to get the second inker in there, it was really just whoa, what just happened here? And I really did not like that. All in all, Nightwing issue number 12 will be a 3 out of 5. A book that, I mean, if you're not reading the series, not the best book to come into, but hopefully after the 0 issues, Kyle Higgins could finally get on a good run with Nightwing and finally get to a place where he's up to par with the other Batman titles in the Batman family line. So, in my last issue or my last review for this whole entire week, I'm going to be doing Birds of Prey, issue number 12. Poison Ivy. She has poisoned the birds. And she has told them, you are going to help me tear down all these factories that are hurting the environment. Slowly through the story arc, we get revealed that the poison that are in the Birds of Prey, if they die because they did not help Poison Ivy, their toxins that are in their blood will somehow infect the whole entire world, and not epic, but a big old event will happen and it'll destroy the world. So of course the birds have to go and help Poison Ivy do her mission, so Poison Ivy can cure them, and then Poison Ivy will go on her way. Now, the plot line seems a little bit ridiculous, but it was just in the point where she was explaining, Poison Ivy was explaining that, hey, the toxins in your blood will eventually destroy the world. But the thing I really liked about this one particular issue is that through the issue, Black Canary told Poison Ivy, the only way we're going to help you is if nobody gets killed. And to see how the Birds of Prey are not the good guys at certain times. That if they have to say, is it going to be your life or my life that's going to be the one being saved? It's going to be me, and I'll kill you before I get killed. And it was really interesting to see that perspective of the birds, and to see that they're a team that has some baggage, and are not always the good guys. That if it is between the villain dying or them dying, they're going to kill the villain just to save their ass. And they're not going to look for an alternate way to get out of a situation. And I just love the point where Black Canary questions all the stuff that she thought she was doing for good, and to see that she made a team come in together. They're not as good as she thought. And that's the whole issue that I just loved so much. It's just these questions and these question of characters that are in this issue. Because I always thought it was interesting, the lineup that they had for this book. And to see how all these different personalities played out. And they're playing out in such an interesting way that Dwayne Szynski definitely got a great handle on the Birds of Prey, telling a really cool story, and you never know where it's going to turn. So with that being said, if you're not reading Birds of Prey, this is the one book that I would suggest you go out and pick up, because it's really interesting, really good character development, and even though the plot line could be a little bit ridiculous, it's still really grounded and really fun. So with that, I'm going to give Birds of Prey issue number 12 4 out of 5. So that's it for this week of reviews. And in my next video, I'm going to be doing my pick of the week. And if you've been following for long, you guys probably already know what that book is going to be. So for all you new watchers, subscribe up top. For all your old viewers, like on the bottom. My name's David. I'll see you guys on another fix.